Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Newfane Select Board meeting. It is Monday, November 20th at 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome Mike Fitzpatrick, Katie Johnson-Applin, and myself, Angela Litchfield, Select Board, Juanetta Powling, Administrative Assistant, Jane Douglas, Planning Commission / Newfane News / DB Fiber /
Don't forget the cemetery.
the paper and the cemetery, all of the things that she does. And Austin Rice from BCTV here. And on Zoom, we have Jay Wilson and Kate Gehring, also Planning Commission. And two folks from Appropriations will introduce shortly. Juanetta, has this meeting been properly warned?
Yes. And
Thank you. Additions or amendments to the agenda?
We need to discuss dates that fall on Christmas and New Year's,
Okay.
and we'll do that under new business.
Perfect. Any other additions or amendments to the agenda?
I guess the Adams Hill thing's on, right?
Yep. It's under the road foreman's report.
So clear.
Great. And moving right along, we'll go to the approval of the November 6th regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion
I have
to?
a motion to approve it.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions, ayes have it. And next, the November 6th Board of Liquor Control meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve it.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. We have to continue the November 13th budget meeting minutes as Mike was absent for those, and we don't have a quorum to approve them, so we will continue those till the next meeting. And good evening, Jay. We are at the Road Foreman and Commissioners Report. Glad to have you here tonight.
We'll need to vote on the Adams Hill Bridge repair. The insurance company for the trucking company that damaged the bridge has been contacted, and they have pictures in the quote for the repair replacement. I haven't heard anything back. I did call the wrecker company again, and I guess they're slowly hearing things back and forth. They still have the truck down there, so hopefully we'll hear something. They want us to, the A's Garage just wanted us to keep in touch with them if we hear stuff, and they're going to do the same on their end. So
Great.
DMI was able to get the pavement patching done on Grimes Hill and Williamsville, and I think there was another spot there we did. And we had a price from RSG, who are the people that do our sound study for the gravel pit. And now that we've revised the plan of where we're entering the pit and where the first phase or two are, Bill Jewell suggested that we get the sound study redone. It should have even better results than the last time, seeing how we're going in the other end. And the quote was $6,900 for the new proposed sound study. So you'll need to vote on that if you want to continue with that. The side dressing of the new pavement on South Orange Road was completed last week, and the bids must be in for the Loop Road culvert on November 28th. That's it. Actually, I have one other thing. If I get a couple of addresses, we have a couple people that have stuff very, very close to the road, and the snow is going to damage it when they get plowed. If I get addresses for those people, could the select board write letters just letting them know that their stuff will probably be damaged by the snow plows?
Yes, I'd be more than happy to help with that. Okay, is there a motion to approve the road foreman and
Make a
commission?
motion to approve it.
Thank you, Mike. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Katie. Discussion, number one. So we had a meeting on Thursday to discuss this. It was not properly warned, so we will, I apologize to the public for that. And we will move on and discuss it now. Jay.
So,
Project and what you have.
the damage to the Adams Hill Bridge It's a wood decked bridge that had a tractor trailer go across it that didn't fit very well on the bridge, and they've basically broken the end of the wood decking off and knocked the guardrail off, and so it's not safe to leave as is, and we can't really close it since we do have one house beyond it. So we've come up with, first week tried to come up with a plan for repairing it, and Renault Brothers were willing to put a temporary bridge in there so we could get till spring. And then he came up with the plan for buying a bridge that had a precast cement bridge that is no longer long enough since the last flood. The abutments were damaged, but not the bridge. And he can install that hopefully this fall without even doing the temporary bridge. He's talking about starting next week. And I got the plans today from the bridge. It was from Bridgewater, Vermont. So for a total of $100,000, they will do everything, including putting the guardrail on, and we'll have a bridge that we shouldn't have to touch for the next, hopefully 50 years or so.
Okay.
Make a motion to go with it.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I think it's great. Jay, I hope we hear back news from the insurance company that they're willing to contribute to that cost for us, and that you keep us apprised of that information as it comes available.
Well,
Exactly. Well said. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And you'll be in touch with them, I'm sure, first thing.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm sorry we had to revisit that, but now it's done. DMI, anything on number 2? Number 3, is there a motion to approve a new sound study for the amount of $6,900?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Anything for number 4? And number 5, you have all the bids ready, or what you need done?
yep, the Juanetta and I will open them, and then the engineer will take them, and hopefully for the first meeting in December, he'll have you he'll rate the bids or however he does it and have it back to us for that first meeting, I'm hoping.
Great. And number 6, already discussed. If you get the addresses, I can work with Juanetta and we'll draw something up and mail them out if that's all right with you. Juanetta?
Yes.
Great. Anything
Thank you.
else for the road foreman and commissioners report?
No.
Nope.
Number 6, maybe we can make a template and have it for future use as well.
Yep, sounds good. All right, all those in favor say aye to approve the road foreman and commissioners report.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, moving right along. Oh, we also have the update on emergency watershed program grants.
So actually during the last meeting, I reached out to Michael Lapointe and had a reply back from him either that night or I think it was that night, that they had 232 sites and they were taking a very long time to get through all of them. So just to be patient that they would get to us.
Yeah, I had a member of one of the visits ask me what the update was, and I said it's still in the works.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
And moving right along, good evening, Juanetta. It is time for the administrative assistance report.
I've made copies of the information from the VLCT training on ADA 101, what your municipality needs to know. And I've included that in your pamphlets tonight. Newfane will be following other local town offices and closing at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, closed on Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday. I'll put that on the website as well.
You closed on Thursday and Friday?
Yes.
Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, Thursday. Can you also put it on front porch forum?
Yep.
Thank you.
Katie Bristol will be doing the monthly bank reconciliations. And the appropriation appointments are included as attachments. The, currently there's 15 that have not responded. I've made contact with them either through phone or through voicemail and email.
Okay.
December 4th does have a little bit heavier. It was not my intention, but you will have 7 on that night.
Okay. Can you give us a brief update also on the Wyndham County Sheriff's Department?
Three of us attended the Wyndham County Sheriff's Department policing project, and they are hoping to go with a study for implementing regional policing so that all the local area in Wyndham County will have one service, one call, one EMS answering, and we're looking at following the animal control plan that was established a few years ago, and the more towns that join, the less the cost, or they help to defray the cost of the program. They're actually going to be setting up a legislative bill to be going to, I think January, so that it can get started perhaps by July of 2024. Very interesting, very interesting.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the administrative assistance report?
Make a motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion. Is there any discussion?
I just want to make add a note to the Wyndham County Sheriff meeting. Newfane and the other towns who are interested are asked to send a letter to the sheriff to be submitted with the legislation. It doesn't commit us at this point, but it shows that we have interest in that process to move forward.
A letter of interest and support.
Correct. Yes.
Would the traffic calming committee be interested in submitting one as well? Since it's a big, heavy topic that you all
Sure,
have.
we can do that.
And then we can collaborate together.
Yes.
Okay.
That has to be in by the end of December. I forget the date.
I can reach out to Mark and find out.
I think I just have to review the email that he sent us. I think those
Yeah.
dates are in there.
I think he was hoping to do it by the middle of December because they want to have the legislative bills.
I thought the deadline was like the end of the year. So
Yeah.
it's earlier than that. We have just a few weeks to write those letters.
I would be more than happy to confirm when it's needed and relay an email to everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Katie Bristol, again for stepping up. That's amazing. She does a great job as data entry for the listers, so I'm sure this will be perfect. And is there any other conversation on the administrative assistance report? Hearing no more. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. And committee reports. We have Jane Douglas here and Kate Guerin here. Is this for Planning Commission?
Kate gonna start?
DB Fiber?
There she is.
All of the above. Good evening, Kate.
Hi there.
Hi.
Nice to see you all. I will let Jane talk about a bunch of our planning commission stuff along with her own, her DV fiber and other stuff. I will say as a reminder, we have a town walk around coming up on December 2nd with the Wyndham Regional Commission to make concrete our conversation about updating our zoning ordinance and bylaw to make it easier or to support more housing in Newfane. And that will be followed by a discussion in the town office. So we'll walk around for about an hour. There'll be a discussion in the town office. There will be refreshments and there will be childcare at the library for anyone participating for the duration.
And that's at 10 a.m.?
Yep. So it's scheduled
calendar.
from 10 to 12. I don't know if we'll be outside for the full hour, but that's roughly the plan.
Do you perhaps have a snow date just in case?
I don't think we do. I think it's rain or shine. Jane, am I forgetting something? But we haven't, I don't think we've discussed it with the Wyndham Regional Commission. I think it's bundle up if needed.
That sounds great to me.
We just not.
There will be warm up drinks and stuff afterwards. I mean,
Perfect.
like, coffee and tea type beverages.
Sounds great. Okay.
That we'll start posting that. The Wyndham Regional Commission is preparing a flyer and we'll get that up as soon as we have it from them.
And it'll get on Front Porch Forum and our website and such. Perfect.
Yeah, our big item we've been talking about a little bit lately is the fact that we still have $201,000 in the ARPA money that has not been allocated.
That's right.
And we've been talking a little bit about trying to set up, some towns are setting up a revolving fund kind of setup where you loan money out for people who need to like upgrade their septic systems, or they want to convert a house into apartments and just don't have the wherewithal to do it, that we could use that money as a revolving loan. We're not sure how that all works. I'm not sure the BDCC would be the people to talk to about that, but
I do know Anne was researching that with other towns that have that. So.
yeah, we haven't heard anything, so we thought we'd come and say, what's the plan? Is there any plan at this point? Because we only have 1 year left to come up with all the final plans, and that's the final plans. It has to include who you're allocating the money to, and what the, all the estimates, everything. So we've only got a year left to do that. So, yeah, I'm sorry Anne isn't here tonight because she would be the person to know where that's standing. But
I'll reach out to her
Yeah.
and find out if there's an update.
yeah, I mean, if it's something that we can do, talk to BCPC or who would be the people to tell us how to set that up, get it going. But we're curious if there's any other plans at all for that money, or is nothing really been brought up.
No, we've been discussing that as well.
Mhm.
So, other than that, nothing that's stuck. The idea of it being in perpetuity, helping people in town, is a really nice idea.
Yeah, I think because it would encourage, single homeowners to do some kind of small upgrades that will make, like I said, be able to put an apartment in the garage or something would be a really great way to promote a little bit more affordable housing in town.
Right.
Be able to use that money. So, that was really, we just thought we'd, give you guys a little bit of a nudge, say what's the plan.
Well, I will reach out to Anne and hopefully have an update for our next meeting.
Yeah, because if you don't want to do that, I'll be happy to put in a request for $201,000 for DV fiber.
We just had Comcast start running line up my road,
Yes.
and they only went up as far as Daniels Hill Road. They never came up the rest of the hill. It was such a tease.
They have been replacing the old cable with optical fiber up the Dover Road here.
We never had it. We've never had
Never
anything.
cable.
Nothing.
Well, DV fiber will be coming. We now have, by today, we must have at least about 100 customers in Reedsboro. So the Reedsboro loops are completed, and we are attaching customers daily.
That's
Which
thrilling.
is really great, makes us a real
It's
live
coming.
ISP. It is coming. We're working on loops in Stamford and Whitingham right now, and just starting to nudge into Halifax. So it's moving very rapidly now. We can
Well, that's
only
good.
But right now, we can only string 13 miles of fiber a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the areas where they are, the housing is all pretty clustered, so it's going rapidly. Marlboro will be probably next year, but we're getting that, so. But it is real, it is alive, it's moving, and it will come here someday. Someday over the rainbow, no, it will be someday.
Excellent.
All right, have I covered it all, Kate?
Yeah, thanks, Jane. I realize we should update the select board a little bit too, on our other conversation, which is with the other planning commissions. We have a lot of, I will add first, so we do have a lot of more housing conversations coming up, and it would be great if select board members, I know you all are, have a lot of meetings and a lot of commitments, but it would be wonderful if you want to come participate at our planning commission meetings and events as we try to kind of narrow the focus and really think about ways to implement some of these changes, whether it's like loan type programs to help, or loans to help implement some of the ideas we've learned, or the bylaw modernization. Hopefully we'll focus more on that in the new year. And I will just add a little update that we had members of the Wyndham, Brookline, and Townsend planning commissions join us at our last meeting. And it's a nice sort of opening lines of communication and thinking about ways that we can start to share information and also collaborate, because a lot of issues affect all of us, and we may be able to put things in motion together that we can't do on our own.
Well, I'm planning to be there December 2nd, so
Great.
it's in my calendar.
It should be interesting. We have one of the folks from the Wyndham Regional Commission who is leading it also is a Newfane resident. So he has both perspectives, and I think that will be especially helpful.
Excellent.
Others, I think that's it. Thank you, Jane. And thank you all. Select Board folks.
Thanks.
Well, thank
Keep
you
in
both.
touch.
Thank you.
We appreciate you both being here. It's wonderful to have you guys come to our meeting.
Oh, and we still have an opening on the planning commission, so.
When are your meetings again?
Thursday, the second and fourth Thursdays of the month at 6 p.m.
Well, you're not having one on
No,
Thanksgiving.
we're not having one this Thursday, so.
Are you just skipping that one altogether
Yeah,
and then going to the 7th?
yeah.
Oh no, that's the 1st.
Well,
It'll be the 14th,
Well, we're meeting on the second.
the
For
2nd,
the,
Thursday.
for the.
Our next regular meeting is the 14th.
Yeah, the next regular one.
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent, and thank you again for being here. And if there's nothing else for them, we will move right along to our scheduled members of the public. And first we have the AIDS Project of Southern Vermont and Executive Director Samba Diallo. I hope I didn't ruin that. Oh, hi. Good evening, glad to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
If you'd like to tell us about your organization and the town and what you do for the town of Newfane, that would be wonderful.
Sure, thank you very much. And again, my name is Samba Diallo, and I am the current Executive Director for the AIDS Project of Southern Vermont. So the AIDS Project of Southern Vermont is a regional AIDS service organization providing services to folks in Bennington and Windham counties since 1988. And our mission is to provide direct services to those whose lives are affected by HIV and AIDS, offer education and supplies to prevent the spread of the disease, and to promote understanding within our communities that we serve. Our harm reduction and prevention program, we offer safe sex supplies, HIV and Hep C testing, syringe service programs, naloxone, which is also known as Narcan. We also offer treatment referrals and case management to individuals who are at risk of contracting HIV. And also as part of the program, we do offer trainings to the community at large. So businesses and other partner organizations will reach out to us so we can do Narcan trainings for them and also harm reduction training. And of course, the people we're serving also have access to the same trainings. To the individuals who are living with HIV/AIDS, we provide case management. We have a limited financial assistance program, so we help them get access to their medication, make sure they make it to all their appointments, to see the doctors, help with housing, and different various needs of that nature. And we also have a nutritious food program, so they can come in and access our food shelf to make ends meet that way also. And this past year, we served 106 people who are living with HIV with our case management services. We distributed over 29,000 pounds of food and handed out over 1,000 grocery cards to help 68 clients and 33 family members. 300 individuals access our syringe service programs, HIV testing, and educational presentation also were done throughout different communities in Windham County. And 2,400 safer sex supplies, mainly condoms, were handed out in the community through collaborations with the OGBYN in Brattleboro, Grace Cottage Hospital, and also Parks Place in Bellows Falls and the Putney Food Shelf all come to us and we provide them with those kind of supplies. And of the 429 individuals served, we estimate about 3% are from the Newfane area, so about 11 people in the Newfane area access our services. So I'm here tonight to ask your support for $250 again this year. And again, we do want to thank you for continuing to support our work and the people we're serving, because they do let us know every time they come in how valuable this service is to them and the family. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Samba?
I have two. One is, could you say how many pounds of food again? That was a huge number.
Yeah, 29,000.
Wow.
29,000 pounds. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And my second question is, do you go into schools and work with the health,
the nurses? Yep. Yep. We do collaborate with a few schools. BOHS also is one of them. And in Putney, we collaborate with them also. So they do reach out to us if they want presentations or if they just want the supplies. We find a way to get it to them.
Great.
That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you all.
Any other questions? Well, I'd like to thank you for being here and thank you and all of the folks that work with you for your important work. It's really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next I would like to welcome from WinDart, Joanne Bourbeau. Good evening. Glad to have you here tonight.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I am as you said, my name is Joanne Bourbeau. I'm the chair of the Windham Disaster Animal Response Team, which is one of 4 regional operating teams of the statewide Vermont Disaster Animal Response Team. And we were formed about after Hurricane Katrina in response to all the animal issues that came up during that natural disaster. And certainly we saw in 2011 our own disaster here in Vermont. And that seems to be rising in occasion and breadth instead of going away. So unfortunately, we did have a very busy year. This year, WinDart deployed to both Brattleboro during a winter storm where they had set up a warming shelter. And we also assisted with the flooding this summer up in Montpelier. So we actually had our Southern Vermont team set up the shelter, but we had folks from WinDart and from our teams across the state go there to provide assistance. We actually ended up sheltering for the longest time we've ever had to shelter set up a pet-friendly shelter for 26 days. We served 72 animals, 38 families. We still have animals in foster care who couldn't be reunited with their owners after the fact. So we're basically operate as a pet-friendly shelter in cooperation with the American Red Cross. So when they're sheltering the people who are victims of the storm, we're sheltering the animals close by so that the owners can still see their animals and take care of them and walk them and love them and de-stress. And the same for the animals. It's really beneficial to have the owners close by so that they can help care for them and they can be a consistent, point of contact for them, even though there are a lot of strangers who are taking care of them during the day. And, this is the first time VDART has had multiple requests. We almost had to set up another shelter in Hartford. I know Wardsboro had a shelter set up where they were hoping to be pet friendly, and up in Johnson as well. So this issue keeps coming up again and again. People will not leave their animals behind in the face of disaster. So our goal is to keep animals and their people together as a family through crisis. And by providing these pet sheltering services, we also do a lot of community events where we will give free information about pet planning, disaster planning for your own pet, so that people will hopefully stay out of the system and won't have to be rescued. We do food drives for the local pet food pantry. And this year we actually partnered with the EMS Academy in Newfane to do a pet first aid course for the public. So we try to do activities both to prep and plan for disaster, but we're also a response agency. And I think the summer flooding really showed that we have the capacity to respond to a large scale event as well. And our service area is Windham County. So that includes every town in Windham County who could be, available for these types of services or consultations. So we're once again asking for $250 as we have in the past, and would also like to thank the select board and the voters for supporting us throughout the years. It's important work, and I think that people really appreciated knowing that their animals were safe, and it took a huge load off of their minds, trying to get back on their feet. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Joanne?
Mhm.
Our pets are our family. That is for sure.
So speaking to the choir here.
Do you have do you do large animal work too, or is there a farm emergency type group that helps rescue herds and what have you?
Our work includes all animals, though we haven't had a large animal response to date. I have people on my team who are horse experts, and we work very closely with the Vermont State Veterinarian, Dr. Kristen Haas. We're a private asset for the Vermont Agency of Agriculture Food Markets. So if there was a disaster involving large animals, my assumption is because we wouldn't be using our typical shelter model of housing companion animals, we'd have to heavily rely on the Department of Agriculture and their contacts with the farming community throughout the state to try to get help. But certainly we do have planning materials for large animals that we distribute, and information on our website. But that certainly, I will admit that would be a challenge that we would have to face, and we would face it and involve the stakeholders that we needed to. But it certainly is not a typical response for large animals. It's usually dogs and cats and animals who are living in homes with their families.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else for Joanne and WinDart? Not. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your presentation. And thank you so much for your help for such a great organization.
Appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too. And I see that Russell just joined us, so now we will move on to Youth Services. Good evening, Russell. How are you? Good to see you.
Good evening. Good to see you too. Wow, I timed it really well, didn't I?
You sure did.
Yeah, so are there particular things you would like to know about? I can kind of remind you and give you an overview of our programming and some of what we've done with folks who are from Newfane. But I don't know if there's a particular questions that you have.
I think that sounds perfect to start.
Okay, great.
Newfane.
Great. Yeah. So, youth services, basically our program, we offer about 20 different programs. Obviously it's in the name, we work with a lot of youth. Mainly what we do is I kind of see us as a gateway for young people who are starting to struggle, or families who are struggling with the young person in their lives. And what we do is we offer an array of different types of programming. We work with runaway and homeless youth. We work with youth who might eventually end up in the child welfare system, youth who are heading towards the juvenile court system. And basically, we either work with them directly and provide services that we have, or we connect them to other services in the community if that's something that we don't offer. So, and then the other work that we do, we also do some work with adults too. We have a restorative justice program where we provide like a court diversion program, a pretrial program for folks who are struggling with mental illness or substance abuse. And about 2 years ago, we merged with the Brattleboro Community Justice Center, or they merged with us. And so now we offer a full array of restorative justice programming, and we're in the midst of a rebranding process so we can kind of accurately reflect all of the work that we're doing. But we continue to do all the work with youth that we've done in a long time, for 50 years now. And the folks who we worked with in Newfane, I don't know each person we worked with in the last year, but I know that generally a number of them have been involved in our court diversion program. And also, I think some of the folks there, younger folks, had been working with our therapeutic case management program. And I believe one of them, we have a program we started a number of years ago. It's a screen printing business, and it is a workforce development program where the youth who come in, they basically run the screen printing business from front to back. They do everything from learning about the accounting to product and sales, and they get paid for their time and then learn workforce development skills and hopefully move on and find good work after that. And one of the young people from Newfane has been involved in that, I'm aware of. One of the things I would add is that, and it's in our application, is that we've had a really hard time, like with a lot of employers in hiring over the last year. And so we've been understaffed and have not been able to serve the amount of folks, not just across the board, that we have in previous years. And that has started to shift. We've been, the job market has changed a bit, and we're now getting more folks and pretty close to filling out our staffing needs. So yeah, that's a brief overview. Yeah, do you have any questions on any of that? Or?
Questions for Russell?
I'm all set.
That's great work.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you being here tonight and for presenting to us, and thank you. And it's such a great organization.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for doing due diligence and checking in on us. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Russell. You have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
And next we have Hillary Farquhar from the Brattleboro Area Hospice. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm okay. You'd think I would know how to use Zoom by this point in the last 3 years, but there we are. Thank you for having us this evening. I'm letting Brattleboro Area Hospice talk to you about our programs. I'll start with the numbers for Newfane. This past year, we had 6 hospice care clients, 2 bereavement clients, and then for our advanced care planning, 2 people started. their directives and 2 finished, and it was a total of 4. It wasn't the same 2 people. We have 6 volunteers from Newfane, active volunteers, and we have somebody who is currently, actually they just finished up on last Wednesday, the hospice care volunteer training. So we'll have 7 active volunteers going forward. So that's the overview of the people that we're directly helping at the moment in Newfane. Our core programs are hospice care, of course, and then we have our bereavement program, advanced care planning. We have spiritual care, which is non-denominational, but that's the person with both grief counseling and our hospice care clients if they request it. We have support groups for caregivers. And this year, this March, we'll be launching a new program that's sort of an expansion of our hospice care. It's the serious illness program. And it's going to be available for people who have not received a terminal diagnosis yet. The parameters are still being worked out, but we're hoping that it's a way that we can help people earlier in the process of a serious illness that may be heading toward end of life care. And so there's a lot to be worked out, but we're very excited because we have been working on this program for actually before the pandemic started was the idea, and then it had to kind of be put on the back burner. But the pandemic highlighted the need that people have for some extra support. As you may remember, we are an all-volunteer program in terms of our client support, and we train our volunteers here, but we're the last remaining volunteer hospice in the state of Vermont. The last one, the second to the last to close was in Middlebury, but they closed. They didn't make it through the pandemic, and so we're the last one standing at this point. We have the biggest bereavement support program in the state. So what we offer is pretty unique now. That it's really, we always say it's neighbors helping neighbors, that it's people in the community who just want to help people at the end of life, provide support not just for their hospice care clients, but for their families and their friends, help people get their paperwork together if they don't have an advance directive. We can help people do that, and all of our services are free. And towns like Newfane are part of our ability to do that because you're willing to, as the town appropriations, willing to help support our programs. And so we're really appreciative, and we're committed to going forward. So.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Hillary? No. Well, thank you so much for being here and presenting to us tonight. What a great program and organization to help the community. Such a hard process.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And thank you again for funding us. So.
Thank you. And you have a good evening.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
You as well.
Thank you.
I can't believe it's this week.
Me either. It snuck up.
Okay, moving right along, we have unscheduled members of the public. Good evening, Bhavin.
Hello.
Glad to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. I'll be very brief because I know you guys are very busy this time of year. I'm just here for 2 things. First of all, to give you an update, a final update on the Williamsville Hall,
Yes.
where over the last month we have installed the lights, the electric work, the cables, the wires, everything. So the stage lighting is absolutely operational now.
Great. Were you able to use it at the last show?
We were able to use
And
it
it turned out wonderful?
show. Yes, we were, yes.
Oh, good.
It was wonderful. And we also have in collaboration with the Williamsville Hall Committee, they basically, as part of the electric work that was completed, the speakers have been mounted on the wall and the overhead projector is now overhead and all the controls are managed from the balcony. So, and Dale Stevens, who's on the committee, he was able to mount everything and all that is done too.
Excellent.
Just to give you an idea, I won't go through the details, but the overall price was about $15,000, of which $8,500 was the gift we got from the town, and the rest is what the Rock River plays.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it's done, and the second reason I'm here is just simply to thank you again for what you did. And you basically made this happen in 1 month, what we were thinking was going to take about 2 years. So.
Well, it's a great project, and you guys do such a wonderful job performing and giving the community something to look forward to. So
Yeah, it's something that we all get to experience, so that's wonderful.
And we're hoping, Rock River players as well as the Williamsville Hall Committee are hoping to have more events, more activities in the hall. Maybe less so in the winter because heating it is kind of there, but the rest of the year to have all kinds of events, not just performing arts, but anything. Where they already have like the breakfast or yoga classes, or what else?
Right.
Having a lively, vibrant community center.
Yeah.
It's going to be great for everybody.
It's important.
It's so nice in this very dark time of year to drive through and see the lights on at the hall. It's just one more bright spot, and it's great.
Yeah. So again, thank you again for your help to make this happen sooner rather than later.
We're happy to help, and thank you and the Rock River players.
They do a good job though, the volunteers. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, we put 8,500, but they did 65. It was pretty close to a match.
Yeah,
So I mean,
absolutely.
just with donations and stuff, they always step up pretty good. So
Yep.
it's always good to see that you guys do what you do.
Looking forward to many more wonderful performances.
Likewise. Wishing you all, thank you again for everything you do, Williamsville Hall related or otherwise, and happy holidays to all of you.
You too, Bob. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Okay, any other unscheduled members of the public? Any new business? New business,
Yes.
dates
We
coming
need to
up.
talk about, so Christmas, December 25th falls on a Monday. That would be our next budget budget meeting, the second budget meeting.
That is not gonna happen.
That's
so
not gonna happen.
I
So-
am not able to do any day that week. I have grandchildren that week.
Okay, so we go into January.
When do we have to have everything?
The 11th, which is the prior budget meeting, is the fourth one. So that seems a little skimpy.
But what's our time frame looking like?
Mary hasn't given me a timeline yet from the publishing company. She said that will happen after Thanksgiving, so I'm expecting one before our next.
Do you recall what it was from last year, approximately?
I want to say it was the third week of January, but does that sound right to you, Lynette?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Okay.
I had to have the draft to her by the third week in January in order to get the proof approved and then the publishing.
So we can work right up until Christmas, until the 18th. We have the regular select board meetings, the 4th and the 18th.
Yep.
One budget meeting on the 11th. Take the week of Christmas off if that's okay with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back for,
January 8th.
well, our regular select board meeting would be the 1st, but that's a holiday. So do we want to do a select board meeting on the 2nd, which is a Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday.
And then go back to budget on the 8th and meeting on the 15th, and then if we need more budget time.
Sounds good.
I think, yep.
Because we'll need to have that regular select board meeting in there on the 2nd.
On the 2nd. Does the 2nd work for you on a Tuesday?
Seems good so far.
Okay.
Okay, so do we need a motion? No, we're just going
It's
to
just a
say.
scheduling.
Okay, so the month of December, regular select board meetings will be the 4th and the 18th. We will have a budget meeting on the 11th. And then going into January 2024, we will have regular select board meeting on the 2nd and the 15th. And we will have budget meeting on the 8th and at the 22nd if needed. Correct?
Yes.
Great.
Well, it depends on that timeline, if it has to be in sooner
Right,
than.
well, that's what we're gonna plan on until we hear.
We can always add budget work to the select board meeting.
We could.
Yay.
We'll look forward to getting an update on when everything needs to be in. But we do have budget meeting on the 27th as well of November, so. Hopefully we can move right along. Anything else for new business? We'll go into old business and follow-up items. Jeff's not here for town beautification. Anne is not here for FEMA buyout. I do know that, the treasurer has an email out to Anne looking for updates on FEMA. So I will see what I can find out, just in case she's not here for the next meeting. ARPA fund updates, we do not have any that I know of. Personnel policy changes.
We're gonna stay until Jeff and Ann are available for discussion. I will say, Juanetta and I are working on it. We have an email out to VEMR's to ask about a weird line with that doesn't make sense. So we're asking, is this old policy that used to be VEMR's and it needs to be updated now to your new policy length of time? Because we don't understand where this number came from.
Okay.
So we're working in the background.
If you have updates to what you've previously sent for us to just look at, so when we do have discussion, if you could send it out and let us know. That
Yeah,
would be
as soon as we
fantastic.
get a return, we'll let you know.
Just for informational purposes, so that when we do meet, we can discuss it and have all of the information we need. All right, any other old business we don't have? There was a request from Bill Morse that the select board respond to his letter. I did drop the letter and send it out as part of correspondence, and I have not heard from him again, so.
Okay.
Correspondence?
No correspondence.
No correspondence, so I'd like to take a moment to suspend our regular select board meeting at 6:52, it looks like. The light is shining
And
right
30
there.
seconds.
And I'd like to open up the Board of Liquor Control at 6:52. We do have a liquor license, third-class liquor license for the renewal from the Fat Crow. If you approve the application, she'll enter it. Carol will take care of it.
Make a motion to approve it.
I second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Is there a motion to adjourn the Board of Liquor
Make a
Control
motion.
at 6:53?
Yeah.
Thank you. And we will go right back into our regular select board meeting, and we are moving right to pay orders. I'd like to thank everyone that was here tonight. It's good to see people coming to our meetings and hear from our appropriation committees. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and stay safe through the holiday, and we will see you at our next meeting. Take care and thank you.
Thanks, everyone.